Hi, I'm Karen Davies, Managing Director of Applied Learning, and I'm here today with Tim Woodman. And what I'd like to ask Tim is about his experience in delivering in project management. So Tim, I know you're from a project management background, and so for me, you're the person I would turn to help with any project management challenges or issues I have. So could you just give me and the audience a little background as to how you came into this business?
Sure. I'm from an engineering background, and the very first project that I was given to deliver was a Type 42 destroyer. It took us 4 years. I had a couple of hundred people working for me, and I learned how to and how not to manage projects in that time. Since then, I've worked for global organisations around the world, managed all sorts of different types of projects, from software development to office moves to building a small publishing business within a business. So I have quite an extensive background, and I've been training project managers for probably the best part of the last 15 years or so, and coaching them perhaps for the last 10 years or so.
It's really interesting. But I guess it's fair to say that from your days working as a project manager, things have changed. So what would you say is the latest trends, or what would you say has actually been the biggest changes you've seen in this industry?
Sure. There's been a proliferation of ways to build the project process. Although they fundamentally still follow the same principles, there's a lot more different ways that allow for the different types of projects, whether it be a software project, whether it be small, large, etc., etc. So that's changed quite a bit. But I think fundamentally, there are two sides to any project. It's do I have a plan that enables me to have the information to enable me to manage the project and give me the symptoms of success or failure? And then the other side of it is, how do I actually get people to do the work for me? And we've seen, not only in the management field, but in the project management field, a fundamental shift of evolution from where we used to be, where project managers used to bang the table and bark orders, to a much more subtle approach to actually getting things done.
So what would you say are, let's say, two major obstacles or challenges for the project managers of today?
I think the biggest single challenge that I get from the guys that I work with, and I work with project managers every single week, is that how do I get people to do things when they actually don't work for me? They are line managed by other people, they've got workloads from other people, and I as a project manager are asking them to do extra work on top of the work they already have. So that's one of the big fundamental difficulties that most project managers face. And the second thing is, they don't honestly know whether the project's going to come in on time. They don't have a plan that they're referring to that allows them to have the symptoms of success or failure in front of them, and then being able to react to that. And I think those are the really big challenges that most project managers face.
Interesting. And what about also the other approaches that are out there? For example, we know of Prince 2. How does what you do compare with other methodologies that are in the training world?
Well, most of the methodologies focus in on a process, and I argue that there's two sides to this. You've got to have a plan and a process that guides your thinking, and gives you the symptoms of success or failure as you move along, so that you can make and take decisions. But you've also got to manage people. So I think there's been a fundamental shift around, well, if I've got a process, then everything's okay.
And so one final question, what makes a really good project manager in your opinion?
Well, research has shown that there are 4 key things that the better project managers really do well. The first is they get really close to their clients. So whatever they're delivering, whatever the project is going to be used for, they make sure it's fit for purpose, and they check on a regular basis. The second thing that they do is, using the Chinese proverb of a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first steps, they make sure that those first steps are planned in real detail. Third thing they do, they manage risks. They forecast, they conceptualize what's likely to happen, and with a really catastrophic situations that may occur, they have a plan in place that actually sorts those things out. And the final thing is that this is a really old management adage: is you won't get what you expect, you will get what you inspect. In other words, the better project managers are monitoring everything, and they find a way to do it which isn't sort of micromanaging and making people feel uncomfortable. So those are the 4 key things that most project managers really do well.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm sure that's going to be very useful to a lot of people out there. Thanks, Tim.